Path of Titans. You know it, you love it, but what do I love about it? Well, that would have to be the great selection of playable prehistoric pounds in the game.
Don't bother.
As opposed to, like, you know, the rat AI, I guess. But what are my favourites? I feel like I'm usually asked in stream what are my favourite dinos to play, so I thought, hey, why not just make a video about it? Before we get into this though, I do want to say that I'm excluding modded dinos, just because I think that would make for like another good list video, and also because I can assume that you guys know what would be number one before even starting the video. But without much further ado, here are my favourite playables in Path of Titans. Starting off at number 5 on this list is a dinosaur that at one point would have been number 1 on this list, that being the terrifying Hatzegopteryx. Unlike the other dinos on this list, Hatz has just got a TLC. In fact, I fully recorded this entire segment, but then had to scrap it because an hour later after finishing, the Hatz TLC trailer dropped. So this placement could potentially go up or down, depending on, you know, how it ends up being. But from what I've played, Hatzegopteryx is finally back to being its old self, and that is really fun. For instance, abilities like Flail, Wing Beat, and Barrel Roll were kind of useless, but now actually have some sort of flair to them. I don't know how useful these changes are going to be, considering Hatz is by far the largest playable in the game, and in my opinion should stay that way. But in terms of things that I've always liked about Hatz, I want to talk about its playstyle. That being the extremely fun and possibly the most evil thing that you could do in this game, getting kills via clamp. The feeling of flying down to an unsuspecting hatchling and just grabbing it and then flying all the way up just to watch it plummet and hit the ground is just as evil as it is hilarious to perform. This obviously means that when you're playing as anything small enough to be clamped, aka anything under the 2100 combat weight limit, you are prime Hatz food. And the feeling of just sitting quietly and then all of a sudden looking up and there's a Hatz dive bombing at you is so scary, but also really cinematic. Oh.
What?
Uh-oh.
What?
Big thing flying. Oh my god!
What?
Now, put together a really fun kit with probably some of the best calls in the game, along with what I believe to be a flawless collection of skins, and you have one of the best playables in the game. I wish I could talk more about other abilities that Hatz has, but as I said, the TLC literally just came out, and I need to get this video out. But from the period that I did play, it was a lot of fun, especially drowning a PT Rex with a wing beat. I feel like that might maybe need some balancing, but at the same time, it was really fun, and that's all I want Hatz to be. I want it to be fun, I want it to be cool, and at the moment, that's exactly what it is. Now, going from a dinosaur that used to be my favourite playable on this list, I'm going to talk about a dinosaur that used to be on my least favourite list. That being none other than the Tyrant King, or Queen if you're a fellow walking with dinosaurs no-lifer, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I will admit, before Rex's TLC, I hated this guy. The mass overpopulation of just these giant stat walls and a playstyle that literally incentivized you to face tank with an ability called phase tank made it absolutely one of my least favourite dinos in this game. But after its TLC, I have now completely changed my tune. And that's all thanks to one ability, one of which makes it absolutely and completely silent. Padded Souls is a passive ability that, at this point in time, is unique only to T-Rex, in which it not only moves faster, but also becomes completely silent when crouching. This means that in the right environment, and if you're not careful, a T-Rex can be sneaking up on you at any moment. And it's because of this that certain locations such as Grand Plains, Dark Woods, and even Green Valley can become near horror experiences as you go about your day, quietly collecting, thinking nothing's around, and then BOOM! T-Rex. And not only does it have clamp, much like Hatz, but once a Rex has sneaked up on something that's small enough to be clamped, there's really not much you can do except from struggle, which, you know, to a T-Rex is pretty much pointless. However, I might be a little bit biased towards Rex because of the server that I play on. NatHist has an awesome rule in where apex carnivores have to territory other apex carnivores out of the population, meaning that most of the Rexes that actually hang around in NatHist are going to be the Rexes who are the better Rex out of the two. So is Rex really going to be on this list for reasons that most of the Path of the Titans population won't actually know about? Probably. But it's my list, and this is where Rex will happily sit. Speaking of biased, up next is a two-way tie between two dinos that I really like, but for the life of me, cannot put both on the list taking up slots because of how similar they are. That being Deinosuchus and Styracosaurus. Nah, just kidding, it's Deinosuchus and Suchomimus. To me, Suchomimus and Deinosuchus are probably the best dinos to play if you just want to have like a nice chill time. As both of them are semi-aquatic, you can spend most of your time just lazing around, fishing, getting random fish buffs, and if you're Suchomimus, getting hook snap buffs. So, when you eventually do come into an actual fight, you are fully buffed and ready to go. And of course, them being semi-aquatic means that you can get into some really interesting fights. I mean, my go-to place for Suchomimus at least is hot springs, because not only can you obviously swim in the water, but the water is deep enough to the point where you can avoid anything that can't swim, and there's enough land to where you can run away from anything that can swim, but, you know, can't catch up to a Sucho. I will say that there are some negatives I have with the two, namely their model not looking too great. They're not awful, don't get me wrong, like, I wouldn't want to see a Sucho or Duck remodel before, say, an Allo or Stego remodel, but when you compare them to the other dinos, they do look a bit weird. Especially Sucho when you compare it to the absolute majesty of the TLC Spino. But aside from that, I don't really have any complaints. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of the whole like wet and dry builds, but it's really not that bad once you get used to it. It also means that some fights you can like completely force the opponent to play in your favor. Like with Deinosuchus, it's like, oh, you're fighting a Spino in the water and it has the 20% damage buff. Just go onto land, shake yourself off, and boom, you're now going to do extra damage with your claw attack. And I really like that. I think that's really cool. Side note, I know I've said in the past that like Hatz is the most evil playable, but I really think there's a difference between Hatz being evil and Sucho just being an asshole. Like there was this really fun moment I had where it almost worked for me, but not quite, where I tried to like bait a Pycno parent into coming back and protecting their child by only backhanding it into the water, but unfortunately it didn't work out for me because like I ended up killing it, which was kind of unfortunate, but like, I don't know, it's just credence to how evil Sucho is. Like, I don't know, it's got such a character to it. Is it a playstyle that everyone will enjoy? Probably not, but is it a playstyle that I think everyone should try? Absolutely. Now, number 2 on this list is going to surprise a lot of people, and that is because number 2 is going to go to Iguanodon. Now, I know it might be weird to have the mascot of my channel be number 2 on this list. I mean, I'm always going over about how much I love Iguanodon and how great it is in this game, but it does have a lot of negatives. That being, it still doesn't have any cool animations, Block got nerfed into the ground, it has possibly my least favourite collection of skins in the game, with the only one I actually like being Blue Rowan, and also a really just sad looking sub. But that is all the negatives I have about Iguanodon. Aside from that, Iguanodon in this game is awesome. It is so cool, and I am so happy that I finally have some good representation for my favourite dinosaur. I feel like most people, when they put Iguanodon in games, look at Disney's Dinosaur and just like assume that it was kind of a pushover dinosaur with how one Carno was kind of like slamming them throughout the entire thing. But if you've ever seen an Iguanodon skeleton in real life, you will know that this thing was a bloomin' kaiju. And the Path of Titans Iguanodon really, really lives up to the hype, and I am so happy about that. I mean, it has one of the best broadcasts in the game, and that's saying a lot considering it's one of the oldest dinosaurs in the game, but it also has a really fun playstyle, going from like the quadrupedal build to the bipedal build, and now that it's an actual working system, even the trample playstyle is usable. I also really like it because it's like the go-to underdog dino. I mean, Iguanodon versus like Rex, Spino, and Titan is gonna be pretty close and definitely in favor for the Apexes, but do not underestimate an Iguanodon because if you are not careful, this thing will destroy you. Also, for like a conspiracy reason here, I made a video a bit ago about like my issues with Iguanodon, and a lot of its problems have actually been addressed to it, namely how every dinosaur is now with Iguanodon in resilient only healing bleed by up to 20% instead of the usual 30%. And, more curiously, planted feet has now become a passive, which, if you watch that video, is exactly what I asked for. Might they have watched that video and made these changes because of me? I like to think so, but that's just like another little personal reason for why I love Iguanodon so much in this game. Also, if they are watching, can we have like a cool Mike Tyson emote for Iguanodon where it does like that cool like sort of shoulder pose? I think that'd be really cool. And so, finally, we come to number 1 on this list, and that is none other than the king of raptors himself, the mob boss Aliobator. Now, is Aliobator the best solo dino? No. Is it the best dino in packs of other Aliobators? No. Does it have the best model? No. But what makes it number 1 on this list, and this is gonna sound sappy, but it is because of you guys. The awesome feeling of just starting up a random stream and going, hey, join me for my mob boss, and then immediately getting like 6 to 7 Dinons to just run around and destroy things with is such a uniquely awesome feeling. I mean, we've had large raptors in other games before. I mean, we've had Utah Raptor, Deinonychus, Nova Raptor, Dakota Raptor. There's been a lot of raptors, but none of them feel as special to me as Aliobator does. And that's for its terrifying yet hilariously goofy idea of this functioning almost like a mafia, with the large Aliobator bossing around all these tiny little raptors. And that is something that I love about Path of Titans, is how creatively goofy that this game can be. I mean, Sarko having a belly slide with Muddy, or Miragaya and Kentro being able to spit on opponents. Like, I could go on and on about how many unique ideas this game has had, but none of them come close to how much I adore the mob boss playstyle. But none of this would be at all possible to accomplish if I didn't have all of you goofy guys joining me during the streams to experience it with me. And that, I think, is my absolute favourite part about this game, and is why Aliobator, to me, is by far my favourite dinosaur in this game, because it not only makes me appreciate the great work that Alderon puts into this awesome game, but it also makes me appreciate how lucky I am to have this channel and community. And so it is because of all of these reasons that I feel comfortable and completely confident in having Aliobator as my number 1 favourite dinosaur in Path of Titans. And so there it is, my top 5 favourite dinosaurs in Path of Titans. But what do you guys think? Are there some dinosaurs on this list that you like, or are there some dinosaurs on this list that you might despise? I feel there's probably one. Please tell me in the comments below. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers, and we even have a Discord. We've had it up for a little bit, but I've never plugged it properly in a YouTube video, so I'm gonna put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out and meet us there. But for the most part, that's it. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!